Back with another episode of the podcast. Justin Barlow, Rock and Randy coming at you, coming off of PPW311 this last weekend, where we crowned a new Armageddon champion in Poncho. Poncho now has gold. First time in, I think, 2 years since he started in Premier Pro Wrestling. New Armageddon champion, and he pinned Jose Acosta. And because of that, now he's going to get a world title shot this Saturday in the main event at 312.
With a Death Valley driver from the top rope.
And then we also had...
So where did they seat it? On Pivot Chair?
That'll be on Pivot Chair. What'll be on Patreon is the Olympiad freestyle match. Champion versus champion. Sensei and Not Bad Chad.
That was fucking good.
Yep. I'm going to try and have... Let's see, we're recording this on Tuesday. I'm going to try and have that up by tomorrow. So that should be available to stream by the time you guys are listening to this on Friday.
That was surprising because Chad was fucking injured, shoot injured, and I wasn't sure if he's going to be able to compete, much less compete at that fucking level.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
he did.
Yeah.
He did. Both guys did. I think that was Sem's first time in one of those matches, so he performed well for being a rookie in that concept.
I'm telling you, don't shy away from that Olympiad freestyle stuff. That shit is entertaining.
It is.
You know?
It's compelling, especially when you only have a 10 or 15 minute time limit attached to it.
Now, let's see. Not this week, but you're in for September 11th. How can I forget that? I mean, but the rest of the fucking country has, it seems to me. So September 11th, man, should we call it a championship? What should we call it? Because we're getting a medal for that Olympiad freestyle on Friday when we run for the Friday Patreon show that we owe you guys. We're going to do a whole tournament that night, and the winner of the Olympiads is going to walk away with that medal, and it's coming sometime the next few days. So we'll also be putting that up on social media so you can see the medal too. What should we call it?
It's a good question. If you want to know my opinion, I think
That's why I asked, motherfucker.
I think maybe we should take it to these guys on Patreon, see if we get any feedback on it, see if they have any ideas.
Well, we don't have that many patrons, and they're not. Are they communicating that you see?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, we've been getting comments.
More than how many?
Not Cody and Noel level, but...
Well, my thing is I don't want to ask and look like a fucking oaf, and nobody answers, you understand? You know what I mean? Or have one guy say it, and then he automatically gets to deem it, and it sucks. You know? And that's not me being a dick or Debbie Downer, which I do love that fucking segment, man. Try to get that segment on YouTube. It's so popular. Wah, wah, wah.
From Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is if one guy picks it, it seems like the patrons are afraid to interact or not comfortable yet interacting. You know what I mean? So 6 people shouldn't decide it. I don't think it would be fair, you know? You understand what I'm saying? You with me?
Yeah. Honestly, I'd be okay with calling it the Olympiad Freestyle Championship, but that might be a mouthful. I don't know what your take is on that.
The thing is, we got all the championships, and I don't want it to be redundant, you know? King of the Ironman. Great inception, by the way. What a great idea. Challenge Pro Cup champion. World Heavyweight champion. Tag Team champions. Armageddon champion. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What's another word for champion, Justin?
Title holder.
Olympiad freestyle. What do you call the medalists in the Olympics?
As far as I know, they're just called medalists.
Just call them medalists, right? So you got a gold medalist, silver medalist, bronze medalist. Olympiad freestyle medalist? No, that's lackluster. That's a dog fart. That's a fart in church. Come on, man. You're the one with all the plethora of words. I'm the
Hey, you're asking me.
Old prick just hanging on. So if I couldn't get a... I can't see. Let's see. Olympiad free... King's no good. Olympiad freestyle. Well, whatever the fuck. We'll come up with something. But Olympiad freestyle championship. Someone's gonna, the whole night's gonna be those matches, and it's gonna be a tournament, and the winner's gonna end up with the medal.
Sounds good to me. And that's going to be on the Friday show, the Patreon show?
Yeah, September 11th.
Cool.
You know?
That'll be one to tune in for.
Yeah. I think so. You know?
Come out to the studio for it, because that'll, even though it's Patreon exclusive, it's going to be shot in the studio in front of a crowd. So
yep.
You can see it live, see history happen.
You know, I saw a couple of places, I want to say on YouTube, where a mention of the Olympiad was brought up, and I saw 2 comments where people really popped for the idea, so that was cool. You know, we have to get that thing over, and we will get that thing over, and I like to see the votes of confidence, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The only people we get, like, we'll get like 2 dislikes out of 15 likes, and that's indie tards, and then this other idiot that we were going to train that just has 0 respect for the business. I mean, 0 respect for the business. You saw him here talking like he was talking with, you know, Anakin's grandma 20 feet away, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So because we said, don't do that, that's not what we do here, he got pissed off and now hates everything and thumbs downs it, you know, no matter what it was, you know. But other than that, man, I'm very grateful for all the positive feedback we get, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're right, it's usually like 2 or 3 out of 15 or 20, so
yeah,
those naysayers are they're in the minority for sure.
Well, and there's always a different political reason for it too. I don't understand why these indie creeps hate us, hate me, you know.
They hate what they ain't. How many of these other tard companies have over 40,000? I think we're closing in on 4,100 at this point, if we're not over that. Actually, I think yeah, 41,000. I think we're closing in on.
Oh,
last I checked, we were at about
40,000. Yeah,
we're at 40,000.
Okay.
We were at like 40,700 the last time I checked. So we're closing in on 41,000. Most of these other companies that talk shit about us, they don't have that combined with each other.
You know, and these Chicago style wrestling idiots, I don't know if they're fans, performers. I mean, I guess over there it's the same thing, you know. But they accused me of buying subscribers or views, and nobody. You can't do that. YouTube finds it in seconds or minutes or let's say days or weeks, and you're automatically suspended for doing such. You know, because there's some revenue involved. You know what I mean? So blow that shit out your ass. That shit's bought and paid for. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I guess you could say we did buy it, but we bought them with blood, sweat, and tears.
Sweat equity, and that's my middle fucking name, you know?
Yep.
You know, so let's see here. I asked you a question. Why do they hate me? So when I look at myself and look at the situation, I can't... It's hard because it's myself. But I'll say this. Why do they hate Matt Vine? Because he's fucking good. You know what I mean? Is he cocky? No more so than anybody else from his age group from the northwest suburbs of Chicago. You know what I mean? He takes this stuff very serious, so when he sees, you know, people making a joke of the industry or phoning it in or acting like they're wrestlers because they work once a month, once every 6 weeks, which, you know, even now is even less, yeah, he's going to have an aversion to that if you've got something to say about him or us, you know? I mean, we're the shit. We never shut down. We provided content. We worked out. We bust balls here. There's no training like we do because it's just not available. You know what I mean? There's other schools, but you know when you're there, it's just not the same as here. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Watch these guys that train you. The guys that train at these places have the same fucking match. So what are they going to do? Show you to have the same fucking match that they do? You know what I'm saying?
Well, of course, they don't want the rookies to be better than they are at 45, 50 years old.
And the same moves and the same high spots. And once in a while they'll divert. And it's usually the younger guys that go to this. There's like a spot of the week that all the indie idiots share on Instagram, because I busted some of our guys when they were first breaking in and having matches here doing it, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I saw, you know? Or they try to emanate their favorite, and I noticed the big move today is the fucking Insigiri, you know? The standing enziguri. Well, goddamn, I mean, I don't watch Raw much, okay? Last night I watched about a third of Raw. How long is Raw?
Raw is 3 hours.
Holy shit, really? All right, I watched about 40 minutes of Raw, so that's not a third. I thought it was still 2. You know how many goddamn enziguris I saw? The women, the dudes, the luchadors. You know what I mean? I mean, we're going to... Not everybody in this card's going to be doing enziguri anymore. Or they're going to just have to go find somewhere else to work. You know? I mean, I saw one of the babes do it. Maybe it was Liv. Liv? Is she, she teams with that punk rock chick?
Yeah, Liv and Ruby Riott.
It was her or Ruby. One of them threw a really nice one. But, you know, even the commentators were bored of it by the time it got to, you know, what's their names? Angel Garza and Almas match. You know what I mean? Where they threw some more. You know what I mean? The heels throw them. The babies throw them. We get it. You can do a standing enziguri. The thing is, like, 1 out of 3, even they miss. You know what I mean? And, oh, God, you know?
Everybody wants to be Owen Hart all of a sudden.
Well, Owen didn't abuse the fucking move either.
No, he didn't. And it worked nicely into his angle with Shawn and Shawn's, you know, head injury when he got beat up in a bar. So they worked that in real nice.
Well, I'll tell you what's impressive. Owen Hart was probably 5'10", 220, 230, right? He's a thick kid, thick kid. He's he was probably older or would be older than me today. But anyway, that's impressive when a guy that's built like that can jump up and kick a 6-footer or so in the back of the fucking head. Not you idiots that hit him in the trap and the shoulder and pop up like you get the spot of the week patting yourselves on the back. You know what I mean? That's impressive. And you've numbed them. You've numbed the people. Like I said, even the announcers that get paid to sell that crap were bored of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just one thing I noticed, you know. But anyway, these guys, they go into the annals of pro wrestling. These guys go into different countries and styles of pro wrestling, you know. And they stay in ring shape.
Yep.
I noticed a lot of people in that WWE roster. It's an inevitable type of thing, man. If you're not in ring shape, you can't perform at that level. You know what I mean? You can, and that's the difference too between training here and training other places. Is that the goal here is to get your ass ready so we can get you in front of a crowd as soon as you're physically ready, and try to fucking get you mentally ready, which is way harder than even the physical part of this. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why I.E. Poncho is rising to the level where he is right now. You know, and he got most of his accolades or cut his teeth during the fucking Corona shutdown tapings. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of our other guys did too. Charlie Hustle.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Think of who else.
Chad. You know, Chad was good, but he was fucking great like he is now.
Tim Castle.
Yep, outstanding. Really came along during that shit.
And didn't Eddie have his first match in front of
I don't remember.
Crowdless.
I don't remember, but Eddie's not at that level yet. He's getting there, and
but
boy,
still,
he can move and he can entertain and he can wrestle. He's learning how to wrestle. You know what I mean? The name of this game is wrestling at the end of the day, and he's learning how to do all that shit. And he looks so confident and happy and getting a lot more comfortable out there. You know?
Yeah, and if you don't believe us, head to Pivot Share and watch the Armageddon Gauntlet. Did really well for himself for being the #1 draw.
He did outstanding. He had two victories in that. You know, it was pretty damn good. You know.
Yeah. Finally got knocked out by Chase, I think. But
the other part too about this, and again, I'll say, Vine is no more cocky than guys his age from this area, from the Midwest, primarily, let's say, from the suburbs of Chicago. But that being said, he doesn't have a problem with humility. You know, right now I'm tooting our own horn. But what do I say? Tell me what I say. Every time we do a good tape and we have a group message page, you know, where we communicate and all this stuff, what do I always say? What's the last thing I say?
Stay humble.
Fucking A. And that's going to be the difference.
Yep.
And it is, what am I saying is going to be? It is the fucking difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Humility. Learn it. Learn the difference between humble and humility. That's the thing with, I was thinking today, we did an awesome thing, and I don't know where it is, but I'll find out. We did a great little, I want to say mini, yeah, it was a mini series with Spice Adams. Do you remember that?
I wasn't here for it, but I remember when he came in.
Pretty fucking cool. So, you know, a real production company got in touch with us, and they shot it in a long day, and we got a lot done, you know, and what was cool about that is it was shot with myself, Spice, and Chase Gosling, and Matt Vine. Now, I've got the production background, you know, from TNA, so I know how you got to operate in efficiency, you know. And then you got Gosling and Vine who know how to listen. And they learn how to listen here, and being aged by me every Saturday night for as long as they've been, you know, working here. I'm not going to hurl broad, just a little indigestion or something.
Go for it.
Okay, so...
You're going to spew into that bottle.
You know, it was nice, and it was good for them to see how to do that type of stuff, too, and how it works. And Spice is a down-to-earth fucking guy. He really is a down-to-earth guy, you know. He must have one hell of a work ethic. But one thing I didn't do, and I should have done, I was thinking about this yesterday, in front of Vine and Chase Gosling, is ask him, and you don't want to know something else? Fuck me. Before I go any further, Spice is extremely humble, dude. Very humble about playing in the NFL and playing for the Chicago fucking Bears.
Good.
You know, so that's another thing about Spice Adams, you know. He's likable. He's a likable guy. So anyway, I think that the odds today are just like the odds were for him. You know, Spice, tell me how many, I think it would be easy to do the math to figure out how many people play high school football that get us, that are so good and so noticeable, and they got their grades right so they can get a scholarship, right, a full ride, you know. Then how many of those college kids, what separated him from the other ones for that position? How many kids finished college that were hoping to play for the NFL? You know what I mean? And then do the numbers and see what is your secret compared to those other kids. Because it's kind of like that today in wrestling if they want to wrestle for World Wrestling Entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. You know? So you got to find out that ingredient. And I will. I don't talk to him a lot, like on social media or anything like that, just because I don't want to be a mark. But Vine does. So once I find a way to correctly put that question to Vine, Vine can find a way to ask him about it. You know what I mean? Because that's what you got to do at the end of the day. And a guy like that, he'll love to share it with you. It's like, I'm so worried sometimes about, because I've had so many ideas stolen and watched them make a mint. I have so much of a problem with trying to keep certain things close to the vest, but at the end of the day, trade secrets, I'm not going to let everything out of the bag, but I'm really not that afraid of things like humility because it's something that you can either get or you fucking can't. And I'll bet that any indie guys that hear this or indie bets that hear this won't even fucking understand the difference between humility and being humiliated. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's okay, you know. But anyway, that's what I like to see is a guy like that Spice Adams who doesn't act like an asshole whatsoever. I mean, he was not an unapproachable, I'm an NFL motherfucker with an insane amount of social media following, you know. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember. Like I said, I wasn't here when it happened, but yeah, I remember all the talk about him coming in and working with Chase, working with Vine.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah.
I was making jokes. I was like, what are we doing with this thing here? Do I got to start picking a date for the Oscars? What's going on? You know. You know what though? I wouldn't even want to go right now. No. You know what I mean? To the fucking Oscars. I'm kidding, but we all played a part in it, and I think it was really cool. I think I want to see the finished product. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to finally see that.
Yeah, they were shopping it around to some networks actually, man. And then worst case scenario, they had sponsorship behind them, so they could their own sponsors, so they can make it worthwhile to put on YouTube. But they're shopping it around for more money first. You know.
Well, if they feel like they can get more money off of it, I mean, by all means.
Yeah, because they spent that day, you know. we did it in a great, efficient way, but still, I mean, they must have had 12, 15 people that they had to bring in that day to produce this stuff, you know, to shoot this stuff. So, pretty fucking cool. Maybe use Spice on our shit this week.
Yeah,
as the, you know, the screenshot.
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, too. I'm just going to get a piece of paper.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one of those things, too, that brings to, that, you know, another thing that we bring to the table. They'd talk to, and they wouldn't say who, and here's me with the humility or whatever. I didn't ask who, so I didn't have no time to bury it. I didn't ask who, so I wouldn't tell Chase and Vine who, but they tried to shoot with somebody in the area, and just like, they're fucking idiots. Well, shit, we talked, and they were here the following, a week later. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that fucking hard, and that's an example what I'm talking about again. You know what I mean? Now, they had, you know, of course, Matt Vine and Gosling got paid as they were characters, you know. They got paid the non-union rate, but they got paid decently, you know, compensated. They got compensated. They're not going to get rich and buy a new fucking car off it, but they got compensated. Yeah. So, you know, with a comparable...
Made it worth their time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Now, I had to appear on it. I'm like, I don't want to appear on it, but we need you to appear on it. Okay, I'll appear on it. How much do you want? How much do you want for rent? You know? Well, I know the going rates for the most part, and I could have raped them. You know what I mean? Even a little bit. And that's the other thing with these other idiots. They would have raped them a little bit, and then Chuck, yuck, 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 look what I did. I got them, you know? I said, fuck you. Don't pay me shit. What I want is a social media rub for our company when that shit comes out. Yeah. Because that's going to be worth a lot more than the $250 to $500.
Play the long game.
Even though I needed that shit, you got to play we play the long game. These other idiots just can't get off their own dick and get out of their own way to think long. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What was that comedy that Donald Sutherland was in the early 80s? Was it Porky's or was it Animal House?
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, I played a professor in one of them. I can't remember which one, but
Animal House.
Yeah, they.
He was porking. What's his girlfriend? There's a horrible scene in there where he's going for tea or coffee with a long sweater and no pants on.
Oh Jesus!
You see Donald Sutherland's ass. Blech. But go ahead.
Yeah, the creators of that movie, they offered him either a one-time payoff or a percentage of the movie sales.
Oh shit!
He took the one-time payoff because he honestly didn't think the movie would make a whole lot. So there's a lesson for you right there. One of the greatest actors in Hollywood, even he can slip up on that and not realize that he's got to play a long game and look to the future. You know?
What a cult classic! I'll bet there's guys from that movie that did take that deal that could probably live off of that movie the rest of their lives. Maybe not like a king.
Jack Nicholson, in order to get him to play the Joker in the 1989 Batman movie, Nicholson wanted a percentage of all of the sales from that movie. And the movie, the merchandise, the toy sales.
Son of a bitch.
That movie will never make money because it's all going to Nicholson because of the deal that he thought up and he struck, and they went with it because they wanted him so bad for the role. And it's a classic movie. It's one of the best Batman movies of all time. But still, that's your playing the long game. That's
and he knew he was going to fucking rise up to play that part to the point where it's going to get over one way or the other.
Oh hell yeah!
And then you look at the roster and go, okay, I'm going to be dealing directly with this one, that one, and that one. The chemistry is going to be outstanding. Boom. You know?
Yeah. And you think that was now 31 years ago. He's still making money off of it.
I can't believe that it's that long ago, man.
That's playing your long game.
All right, so let's take a look here. What do we have this weekend? Poncho, who's really coming into his own. You know, we didn't talk about fucking Jose Acosta, who developed during that goddamn pandemic shutdown shit. That's another one that found his, you know, when we shut down in March, Jose had already proved he was a hard worker and the type of person that he is, that he brought with him when he came here, but I could see the light bulb flickering. And it was during that pandemic where we ran without a crowd, which isn't as hectic, the light bulb flickering, God damn it, if that thing hasn't kicked on and shined bright, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
speaking of Batman, I mean, you could see Jose's fingers forming that W like the bat light.
Yep.
Is that what it was called, the bat light?
Bat signal, bat
Bat
light.
signal.
I've heard it both ways.
The warrior signal. I like it. Let's talk to him about doing that T-shirt design. Will you remind me? That's kind of a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you do the bat light circle, which is kind of like an oval, and then that motherfucker with the W with the fingers.
Yeah.
Huh? How about that?
I like it.
But that's going to be something to see Pancho and Jose 2 out of 3 falls. I can't wait. Honestly, I think that's going to be one hell of an enjoyable match for somebody that, you know, gets sick of wrestling like old Rand here.
Oh, God, yeah. And with Pancho having gold now, I mean, he's got more momentum than ever.
Then, what else do we have?
We have...
It's a triple threat tourney, right?
Yes.
For the Challenge Pro Cup?
Yeah, gauntlet. We're going to do a gauntlet. Last 2 guys standing get Not Bad Chad for the Challenge Pro Cup.
For what it's worth, okay? For what it's worth, people have said to me on the side, and these are people that aren't idiots, that, it's funny that Vince has ninjas now, and you've had zeros. And I look in and I laugh, going, yeah, they're not fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, what's this fucking focus on triple threats with Vince?
Mm-hmm.
You know anything about that? I know there's a pay-per-view coming up. There's going to be a triple threat for one of the titles. I can't remember. I don't think Brock's in it. But anyway.
No, I think I just read that Brock's contract expired and he didn't renew, so.
He will.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
But anyway, they're putting one of the big titles up in one. You know what I mean? You know, last night, Raw, I think it was the main event. It was Orton versus Rollins versus the big black kid.
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. You know what I mean? So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool because we're dicking around with that. Now, people say something like that, and I see it, and I go, okay, possibly because, you know, I do communicate with people that currently work there, and I know they watch our stuff, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, when they do stuff like that, you know, we've been doing it for a long time, and we commemorated the idea with that actual making of a cup and crowning a champion, you know, in that Challenge Pro Cup. Mm-hmm. The other thing that makes it cool is that cup will always be defended, you know, via pinfall, the first person to a pinfall, the first person to a submission, or the first person to throw one of the guys they're facing out over the top rope and he hits the floor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's an automatic win. So that's pretty cool.
I don't think there's any other championship that's decided or that can be decided that way by over the top rope elimination.
And I don't think there's any championship belts today that are defended under 2 out of 3 or first to 2 falls rules either.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless it's a special stipulation, but it's a permanent stipulation unless otherwise specified.
Yes, and I like that too. So, what do we have on the underneath card? Who's going to be there this week? We've got Vine, Matthew Vine.
Got Matt Vine.
Destroya.
Yeah, Vine and D, they had their match number 4 in their best of 7, and the score's tied now.
We've got Tim Castle.
Oh, I think we were. I think you mentioned something about doing a King of the Iron Man match.
Don't think we're going to do that.
Nope.
Not this week. We've got Not Bad Chad.
Yeah, Chad's going to defend the cup.
We've got Eddie. Oh yeah, Chad, you son bitch. We've got Eddie, the Bruiser Cruiser.
Got Eddie. I know Chase is out of town this week.
Uh-huh.
We got Sem this week.
Oh, little Sem.
Charlie Hustle.
Charles Hustle.
What about Willie?
I think we have little Willie.
Who else? Pancho. Oh wait, no, he's in the main.
He's in the main.
Uncle Nate.
No.
Not this week.
I don't think we have him this week.
Ventura.
Ventura is here. That's another motherfucker. Go ahead, man.
Yep.
You put him over.
Yeah, Ventura developing by leaps and bounds.
We had to find his confidence, and we did.
Oh yeah. Once he found that confidence, he became a ball of lightning.
Yeah.
He's gonna if he stays with it, he's gonna go places.
And then you got old Timo.
Timo. Do we have a Nestor this week?
I don't know, man. You know, he's got that goddamn... I don't know what it was.
Oh, yeah, he's got that thing.
Yeah, it looked pretty filthy to me. It looked pretty filthy to me.
Well, we'll see
Let's
about a
text
Nestor
him and see if he
Saturday.
hits us up before we're done here.
We'll see about a Nestor before Saturday, then.
Well, I'd really love to have him in that shit.
Yeah,
Because he's good. You know? He's really good.
Yeah. You take nothing away from a Nestor. I mean, he's one of the... At this point, I think he's been doing this, 5 years now? He's one of the longest tenured guys on the roster.
Oh, dude.
Tremendous soccer background, powerlifting.
He played football.
And agile as all hell.
Yeah, he played football too, man.
Oh, yeah?
So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So at this point, we got an odd number of guys.
Yeah, with triple threats, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? A Nestro. I love when people fuck it up. Non-Latinos call him a Nestro.
I've heard Ernesto.
Well, that's a common name, I think.
You know what's funny is when they used to cheer for him, sometimes they'd be chanting his name and it would sound like penis straw.
Oh my God. Remember the Flying Phoenix? Sounds like people are chanting penis, but they're saying Phoenix. All right, it was me that started the penis chant.
Yeah.
It was a riot.
Yeah, you gotta admit that.
That was great though, wasn't it?
It was.
So far, that's all. I think that's what we have. But I'm going to have to wait to hear from Nestor because, you know, I think that that's going to spice things up in whatever party he's at because he's going to be favored. What is the history of the Cup?
The Cup used to be, it used to be...
I mean, was Vine the history of the I'm looking for the lineage. Was Vine the only one to hold the Cup?
No, Vine held it. In the past, when it was only done, when we only did it once a
once a year. Yeah,
when we only did it once a year, Chase had it.
Well, since we've been doing it competitively.
Competitively, Vine's had it. Sem's had it.
Sem did have it.
Yeah, Sem did have it.
Oh, so he's favored.
Since we've been doing it competitively, those have been the three guys. You've had Sem, Vine, and Chad.
So, Chase is not here. That means that Sem and Vine would be favored. Mm-hmm. And Nestor, he never held that though, huh?
He did back in the yearly era.
In the yearly era.
He and Chase held it back when we did it once a year.
4,
but not
5,
since
6,
we started
7,
making
8,
it.
9,
Not since
9.
it became an active championship.
I gotcha. Huh. Well, that's pretty damn cool. All right, well, do me a favor, guys. Keep up on our social media, and once I hear back from who we need to hear back from, we'll put this thing together. Now, Vine and D, where are they on the best of 7?
They just finished match 4. Scores tied at 2 apiece.
2 apiece.
And it's the first of 4. The first of 4 wins, so both guys got 2 to go.
Both guys have 2 to go, and there wasn't any emotional blowouts this week, even though there was some frustration, and Vine lost with class.
Yeah.
You know? That was pretty interesting, too. Like I said, sir, we said earlier, check that shit out on Pivot Share. The finish was real good.
Oh, yeah. It was really exciting. Not just the finish, but the match in all was really exciting.
Yeah, you know, so once we go through the numbers, I'm sure Vine and D would want to put their scheduled match for the best of 7 on hold till the following week because we do this every week to participate in, the Challenge Pro Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know they would, both of them. So let's go ahead and do that.
All right, so
we're not going to do that unless for some reason we end up with the math being weird and those two guys decide, no, we want to go through this. Because they'll want to do both, but I'm not going to let them do both because that could spawn into 3 matches for either one that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody is you know, whoever goes to the main, they're already guaranteed to work twice as it is. So
yeah. So I mean, with that being said, you know, that they're just not gonna be favored. You know what I mean? They're not. How can you be favored? Let's say you compete in that thing, right? You win it. Let's say you win 1 or 2 matches. Then you got 3 to go. By the time you get there, you're already wore out. If they work each other, which those have been knockdown, drag-out wars with real wrestling and power and speed, and oh my God, no way. There's no way in God's green earth. That'd be like 4 times, and how you gonna win that cup after that? You know,
Yeah.
One match with those guys, and they're both suck and win. I mean, they work hard. You know.
yeah, so I think maybe a line in the sand is kind of needed. So best of 7 on hold for a week until we get through the Challenge Cup tournament.
Yeah, as a favor. I mean, we could take them out of it, but I don't think that either one of them wants to, especially since Vine's won the thing. And like it or not, you know, fuck, who would have thought? Really looking at this, whose idea was it? These or Vine's to do this best of 7?
I think it was Vines, if I remember. If I remember the history, I think it was Vines.
And I think you're absolutely right, because it's coming back to me something along the lines of he wanted to see if the kid could bring out the best in him, which he has. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, being tied at 2 and they're over the halfway point, fucking DiMarcio Destroyer is really holding his fucking own.
Oh hell yeah!
You know what I mean?
And the people are behind him. That crowd was split on Saturday between the two.
Yeah. Well, he's got charisma, he's got a body, he's got a work ethic, and the athleticism, man. I mean,
and
honestly,
he can fly. You know how much of a mark I am for high flyers. So
yeah, but he's still holding back. You know, flying like he is, dude. I see him holding back on about half the stuff. I know what that kid's capable of.
And that makes me excited, because you say he's holding back, and I'm already watching him fly off the top rope. It looks like he's going to kick the lights down.
No, he almost hit with that crossbody. He really almost hit the venting in the building. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that's no easy task. If I had to jump for that to save my life, even on a good day, I couldn't have done it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He could. He could have jumped up there and hooked his feet and changed the light bulbs for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we said it before. He's got that extensive basketball background. So.
Yeah, but he's only about 6 foot and change, 6'1", so it's just so impressive to me. And he's starting to thicken up. I mean, he's starting to get really big arms and upper body to go with that narrow ass waist. You know?
Yeah. He's becoming what's the word I'm looking for? More aerodynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's got power game. I mean,
God.
from hell. I mean, he's strong kid. Shoulders, traps, arms, legs, you know.
Mm-hmm. He's a workhorse.
Fucking workhorse, perfect. So, how much time do we got left on this?
Closing in on 40 minutes. And I got about 20 before I got to hit the bricks.
All right. Well, fuck it. You know, I don't care. So go ahead, anybody listening that ends up trying to steal this one, I will prosecute and let this, I don't mean you listeners or our fans, our followers or patrons. I mean, you know, our fucking snakes that we have to mention and deal with from time to time that I try not to give too much energy to, even though I'm very sensitive and I get angry easy. You know, I'm protective. So, some of you might know Justin knows, I do have a kid in Hollywood. My middle kid. She graduated from Columbia College on the Dean's List for television and film, which is awesome, you know. A lot of people do that, and then a lot of people say, oh, that's the equivalent of liberal arts. What are you going to do with that, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, this kid's 2 years out. 2 years out? 2 years out. She's making a good living. Got a great job for a company called World of Wonder, and that company produces RuPaul's Drag Race, which spawns so many different projects that are featured on E! RuPaul's Drag Race has to be one of the top shows on there, huh?
On E?
Yeah.
I gave up cable a long time ago, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't watch E! Because same reason I don't watch MTV anymore. You know what I mean? I hear they're bringing back Beavis and Butthead, though, so. Oh, that's cool. They lost me, though. They really had me good, man, when you did shit like Celebrity Fit Club. Did you ever see that?
I think I watched an episode or two.
fucking outstanding. What a show. I mean, about these chubbers, famous chubbers trying to lose weight. It was so great because I think it took a lot of the stigmata off heavyset folks. And you know, it is a disease pretty much, overeating. You know what I mean? And the reasons why, you know.
It is. There are support groups for it.
But there were big assholes on that show, but there was also amazing, classy folks, too. You know what I mean? One of the saddest ones, man, was Bam Margera's dad, Phil.
Oh, Phil. Oh, God bless him.
Did you see it with Phil?
I didn't see it, but I know who Phil is. And
that motherfucker made me
yeah.
cry. He's like, I'm not going to live to see, like, Bam's kid was just born or going to be born. And Phil, who, you know, you never see anything but funny, is just fucking crying. And like, what's wrong, Phil? What's wrong? He goes, if I keep going like this, I'm not going to be able to see my grandkid grow up. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know. All right. Here's the idea. It's a program I'm working on and I'm pitching to certain networks called History of the Ring. You know what I'm talking about when I tell you that, Justy?
This is the first time hearing about it.
You haven't heard? I haven't told you about this.
Nope.
Oh my God.
But now I'm all ears.
So, the mission statement. We travel the country telling the story of one of America's most watched forms of sports entertainment. Or, well, you know, we use the term most popular forms of sports entertainment. The idea is to travel to the old wrestling towns and the old wrestling territories, tell the history of wrestling in that territory while we try to honor it by actually booking and running shows in that, you know, running events in that town. And at some of those places, we're going to try to run the same buildings, i.e., off the top of my head, Racine, Wisconsin, Memorial Hall. I was the first one to do wrestling there since Lanny Poffro's father, Randy Macho Man Savage's father, used to run that town and run that exact building. You know, that was a really cool building. We ran it about half a dozen times, and it had like a 40 to 50 foot ceiling, maybe higher. Just a flat ceiling. It was just a building called Memorial Hall. Well, fuck, dude, they had the old-timey canister lights from the fucking 20s or 30s when that building was built that dropped. You slide the ceiling panels over and drop those fucking lights.
Damn.
That was really cool, you know? So, what do you think of that idea, asshole?
I'm almost ready to get in a car with you and just start going and just start hitting the road to make it happen now.
I never told you this. I never told you this.
You never told me that.
Wow.
So are you thinking like even some of the old like all the great, like some of the great territory towns like Memphis, Dallas,
yep,
Portland,
and many more that you never heard of?
Yeah, probably
you know?
not.
Vern Gagne had, I mean, you guys can do the history yourselves. You might like to get off on the history because
oh, I definitely would.
I don't remember a lot of it, but you know, the funniest thing in the world is reading about how the NWA split, you know. The juice, the magnitude of stars, guys like Vern Gagne were, guys like Dick the Bruiser, guys like Buddy Rogers, you know what I mean? Going all the way back to Frank Gotch, you know. The magnitude of stars that they were is just so unbelievable compared to what you see today, you know. Dwayne Rocky Johnson, you know, he's a big name. But as far as wrestling went in the ring, I mean, I'd say Rocky's probably the most renowned, most well-known star in the world today. Mm-hmm. Used to be Arnold in the 80s or 90s. I don't know. Stallone and Arnold were very well known. Well, I'd say Rocky took that spot.
Yeah.
You know
well, last
I
knew, he's last I heard, he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now.
Well, how would you like to fucking watch a program that goes to Hawaii, where Peter Maivia was running a fucking territory there?
Oh.
And that's where Rocky got started. Rocky was passing out flyers for his grandfather with King Tonga, Haku, when he was 6 years old. You know?
That's
Tell
amazing.
me who the fuck would want to know that story.
Yeah.
All the craziness up and down, back and forth, to how people coexisted, how people didn't coexist. Vern Gagne, you know, was so famous in Minnesota and the Midwest. Well, tell me this. How in the fuck was their show AWA such a big hit because it was syndicated out to, or what did they used to call it? Give me a second. Liked? No. Cycle? No. Anyway, they also had television in San Francisco, man. And it was huge. That's what everybody watched. They would go to San Francisco once a month.
Huh.
How in the fuck was Vern Gagne's shit so big at Las Vegas? Because they used to tape there for many, many years. We're going to fucking show you that shit. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about how it got started. You ever heard the name Wally Carbo?
Yes.
So, Wally Carbo on the TV was always made reference to, and I met Wally Carbo, you know. But long story short, we're going to tell the story of how Vern Gagne was such a big name that he was able to break off for the NWA, the governing body for most of the for 50 of the territories, 50 and change, to start and go on his own with the AWA. You know what I mean? We're going to go, like you said, Memphis, and fucking look at those little towns, you know, and talk about the history of that, where you got Nick Goulas was part owner. When I see the credit given, and the only credit online to people that took wrestling out of the carnivals and brought them into the arenas, I'm not seeing the other shit that I know from Roy Lee Welch and the Welch Fuller family. How many people got their start there? Hulk Hogan was broke in down at Florida Championship Wrestling with Mike Graham. You know what I mean? And Mike Graham's father. So there's so much, and we're not going to, you know, I want to be honest about it and all that stuff and be straightforward, but I want to educate people on that and share that story before it's fucking gone. Yeah. Because the internet does not have it. Look up Roy Lee Welch. You know, he's one of the most renowned independent and NWA promoters of wrestling companies in, you know, the NWA history. This is not even a fucking Wikipedia page for the guy. Now, I cut my teeth in Memphis, in a lot of those towns, working with Robert Fuller, Roy Lee Welch's grandfather. You know, so I mean, this is going to be the shit.
Oh my God, yeah. And, you know, it's sad that a lot of people don't know a lot of the true lineage that's kind of been swept under the rug about this business.
Yeah, you know, you got a lot of
sensationalism.
Thanks. You know, Dark Side of the Ring. I watched it. It's so sensationalized, and it's written through the eyes of a fan. I'm not going to bash it because I'm entertained by the program, but sometimes I shake my head when I go, it wasn't like that. I know this guy, it was there. You know what I mean? But it just seems to run down the industry, where what I want to do is, like you said, educate it. And I think that it's something that everybody's interested in, all ages. I don't even think you have to be a wrestling fan to look at that shit, because how many people say, oh yeah, wrestling, my grandfather used to watch that. I used to watch that with him when I was little. Yeah. You know what I mean? But anyway, you know, going to the details of that, but I really think that it's going to be a program that'll sell like crazy, because everybody wants to get into the wrestling business, and you can't compete with Vince. AEW shows you that, you know. TNT is out on a limb for whatever, win, lose, or draw with AEW for how many years, you know. Not saying I wish them ill will, but the rate they're going is not, the things they're doing aren't working, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is coming from me, a guy who was on the team with Impact Wrestling, creative and production, when we were drawing a consistent 1-1-1-2, you know what I mean, on Spike, you know, so I know what I'm talking about, at least more than, you know, your regular guy or indie idiot or indie vet, you know what I mean. I know we can sell this fucking thing, and this is I think a lot of networks want to get into wrestling, but they're looking at that going, you know, look how it's going for TNT, how much money are they fucking burning versus how much they're taking in on sponsors. Yeah. I think this is a motherfucking hit, and it keeps the respect and honor to the industry.
Well, you have to respect your roots. You have to respect your roots. Even if the times have changed, yeah, you have to respect the heritage, the lineage. Exactly. Because without that lineage, you got nothing. It's like trace the history of rock and roll, you know. No Elvis, no Beatles, no, and just go from there. Yeah. But this is the way that we throw our hat into the ring with network television
and actually create some opportunity for the guys on the roster.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
And I think, I don't know how you feel about it, but from my perspective and what I've seen, I think a lot of these guys would definitely have an appeal to a more national audience.
They totally would. You know, it would be amazing. It would be amazing, you know. Last year when that study came out, that study should be coming out soon too, in a month or two, that ranked us 26th of the top wrestling YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year. You should find out coming up here.
Yeah, so
it's got to be higher than that.
I hope so.
I'll be very surprised if we're not at least close to top 20.
I hope so. But anyway, one of the companies that was just above us, I think it was 25, we're 26, is called Santino Brothers Wrestling. I never heard of that shit. I was like, what is Santino? You know, because that's what I was thinking, you know, the character. But no, it's not even got nothing to do with him. And the people's name's not even Santino. But what was amazing about it is, and I've told you this before, I'll say it here, I watched Storage Wars, you know, because I like that type of shit. And I like the character, especially Ivy. That's a funny motherfucker. You know who he is?
No.
All right. Now, I don't know if you know, but I took credit for it. But one of his first appearances on the show is like, man, we're in this town and it's 100 and something degrees here today in Los Angeles area. He walks in and goes, damn, you white people all smell like old hot dog water. Well, I said I stole it and made it. I said I made it up, but I didn't. I stole it from Ivy.
Wait, was he the same guy? What's your profanity?
No, that's Kenny.
Oh,
Kenny's
okay.
cool too. Kenny's funny. He's my favorite, man. That motherfucker's likable. I wish we could get him to wrestle. He used to be a bodybuilder. I see in the pictures of him. He looked great.
Really?
But yeah, Kenny's the shit too. Kenny do it. But anyway, so Ivy found some wrestling shit and they took it to Santino Brothers to assess it. So that's why they got all that extra fucking traffic and views. 'Cause people saw it on Storage Wars, and that made me realize how big Storage Wars and things like American Pickers are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, History of the Ring, mark my words, I'm going to make it work. I'm putting together the pitch now. I know who to present it to. And I've got some people that are a lot smarter than me helping me put the pitch together. I think it's a fucking winner, and I think that you know, it's not done in a competition to compete with Raw. That you can't do. History's proved that. No. But imagine if we could draw that kind of money from the network, the opportunity we could create for our guys, you know, our roster, our brand, and our guys that are branded. You know what I mean?
And that, it just reminded me of something that we were talking about weeks and weeks ago on this. It might have been a few months ago, actually. But the two words that describe Premier Pro Wrestling, honor and innovation. Honoring the past while innovating for the future.
And that's what I'm saying, too. The matches are going to be, you know, the talent level and the matches are going to be brought up to pop culture. Yeah, well, let's see if we can make lightning strike again in some of these fucking old areas and see what we might stumble upon.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same wrestling you would have seen in those towns 30 or 40 years ago.
But it's certainly not going to be, you know, even borderline inappropriate. It's going to be what we do, and we are a wrestling company.
Yeah, but we still, our style still honors those companies in those territories who are now past.
Exactly. You know, we don't imitate it.
No.
But we have the same respect for the industry. My guys have the same respect for the industry, the sport. You know what I mean? Yeah. But God, dude, there's so much hidden gems and so many things we're going to find. I mean, I think it was 83 territories were in the United States at one point. Huh. And
so that's not even counting. That's not even counting up north in Canada.
No, but some of your Canadian companies, i.e., the fucking funny, and this is how they qualify. I never knew this, but Stu Hart's company was on television in Montana. Yeah. And it got great ratings, so they're considered an American company as well because they used to tour Montana, the towns that they ran.
He also had a lot of American talent on his roster, too. I know Junkyard Dog when he was Big Daddy Ritter, Jake Roberts. I don't know if he got a start there, but he got some big-time exposure.
Well, so here's the thing back then, man. Now, wrestling used to be different guys that just kind of went to the wind. When it finally organized, it was Frank Gotch and Munchnick or Toots Mont. I don't remember, but we'll have to know by the time we do the television show. they used to just travel the fucking country, and it's like in the 1920s, maybe 30s, you know. There weren't then territories. Promoters would just run. And then when they started to get television deals, now people watch it, that's when they would try to build rosters and act like a professional sports team. So I go into Memphis, and I went in for a 3-day tryout, and I ended up staying for 9 months the first time. I ended up going in there off and on for 5 years. But I had gotten my notice there, and unless you were part of their real brand, which usually meant related to the fucking promoter or the owner, you know what I mean? Or Jerry the King Lawler, who commanded, it was just such a popular guy. You were in for 6-week cycles, and then you would go somewhere else for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? There was an honor between the promoters where they would say, who do you got, I'll give you this, you know? If you watch some of those old, and I know you do, Madison Square Garden shows, things I never noticed was Kevin Von Erich, when he was green, going to work for Vince Sr. to learn how to work, to come back so he'd be valued to his father. Kurt Hennig, the same shit, and then go back to Vern Gagne, who was very close with Larry the Axe Heading, to be useful to that company. So that's how we used to do it, you know? So you could beat him every night, but you don't beat him every night where you plan on pushing him then. You know what I mean? So, man, you're going to lose your shit when you see how many motherfuckers were there, how many fuckers were involved. And you know what I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, too, is we're going to be able to honor some of those guys that deserve it, you know? Hulk Hogan did not become Hulk Hogan because of Hulk Hogan.
No.
You know? It was Vince's brilliance in marketing. He's a marketing fucking genius. And it was the guys that he worked with in the ring that carried him. Mm-hmm. You know?
Amen to that.
So, the point I'm trying to make is that you could have, like, go down and watch fucking, not Joe Blanchard. Tully's father was in Texas. Houston. That territory, his name's slipping my mind right now. But Nick Bockwinkel used to go down there. He'd go down there for 6 weeks and work with those motherfuckers. They say, well, while you're here, we'll put you with this one, that one, and the other one to build you up. Teach these motherfuckers something in the ring. God damn, you can see some amazing stuff. Same shit happened in Memphis, you know. Such a cool story when AWA, World Class Championship Wrestling, and USWA all got together and tried to fucking give Vince a run for his money before he took over, you know.
Yep.
And they probably could have, Justin. They were drawing a decent amount, but they just couldn't find that common ground. Everybody's ego was too big to honestly and truly work together. They just started trying to cut each other's throats. Like, well, let's befriend Vern so we can steal that ESPN deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then the truth comes out and kaplooey, you know?
Yep.
Vern goes, oh, so you tried to steal my ESPN deal? Well, guess what? I'm not going to pay you for the first pay-per-view. You know what I mean? What are you going to do about it? I'll file for bankruptcy. So everybody hates everybody, but it would have been cool if they had that same honor that they used to, you know?
Yeah. So we're rolling about the hour mark, and I gotta bolt and get to therapy to work my shit out. So,
all right, boy, I gotta talk to my shrink on the phone on Friday. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, definitely.
Friday, I gotta deal with her, which is good. I'm very stressed out. Yeah. My asshole's puckered. So I need it.
You guys on Patreon, number one, thanks again for listening.
Yes.
And
fuck yeah. And please don't. I'm not busting balls. Yeah, funny, I'm not busting balls. But go ahead. I mean, you have every right to commentate or comment. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you get comfortable with fucking Patreon.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And don't forget this Saturday, Challenge Pro Cup contenders are going to be crowned, and they're going to face Chad in a triple threat. And remember, it's pinfall, submission, or over the top rope. And then in the main, we've got Poncho and Jose, 2 out of 3 falls for the World Championship.
That right there is worth the price of admission.
Yeah. And probably some more stuff coming your way, whenever that light bulb goes on over Rand's head here.
Yes, keep checking our social media, because the 2 weeks I was uploading with just art and not even video, we did fucking great.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good. And it makes it easier on the guys doing the video production like me.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. So.
Well, it's not 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag either, you know?
Yeah. So we will talk to you guys next week, and I don't know about you.
Hold on. That's my grocery list.
Got the dingy.
So if I say, are you healthy enough to work Saturday? And he says, Avi, that means the Nestor's in.
Yeah.
So cool. This shit is, it's going to
So
add
now we
a
got a
whole new
Nestor in that
parameter.
Challenge Pro scenario. So
That's going to make it more
yeah.
entertaining.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right.
And
Bye-bye
then
now.
his history of the ring. Oh, you got me excited for that now. So
Yeah,
we're
you
definitely going to talk.
asshole.
We're definitely going to talk
Maybe
a little
you'll
bit more
treat
about
me
that.
better now.
Yeah, like I treat you like shit.
Yeah, you kicked the shit out of me. You and the rest of them.
If I treat you like shit, it's because I see you as fertilizer, a fertile ground where things can grow.
Whatever, asshole.
He sees through that compliment. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye now.